So the chapter that I'll be doing now is chapter 13, and it's more of an analysis of Dickens' Christmas Carol, the story that he wrote. So to begin with, most people tend to think of it as a festive story, just because, of course, with the title being as is. But it actually tends to have more of a political view. He tends to fight Thomas Malthus. I believe I said that right. His view is giving more food to the poor, or giving more food to the poverty is just going to increase poverty. Giving more food to the poor is just going to increase poverty. Therefore, it's just going to be like a long spiral and spiral. So with this in mind, the analysis part of it is how people tend to take it as like a festive type story, but really it's not. It's more of a political view type story where he puts out what he thinks. And you tend to see this in a lot of writing. So the second half of this comes with a lot of writers will tend to like embed it into their writing because people won't read stuff that's just straight political. But when it's political stories instead of just political stories, it tends to be a lot more interesting because you embed the political part into the story. And sometimes it could be hard finding it because you may need to know a little bit of the author's background. But in this case, or well, not in this case, but you just need to look at where the characters are in the book. Like if they're more of a hierarchy or something like that, that's where the author might be talking about his political type of stance. So with this in mind, like a lot of authors will use their books and stuff to show their point of view. Not always, but sometimes. And just like in this, like a lot of people think that A Christmas Carol is a festive story, while really it's a political view just kind of turned into a festive story by switching the point of views of some characters and just kind of by showing like their life in a different type of way. But yeah. Alright, so the chapter that I will be doing right now is chapter 27. The chapter is based off a short story called The Garden Party by Catherine Mansfield. And the way it opens up is just a gorgeous summer, or a description of gorgeous weather. It has everything going perfectly, and the title is called Garden Party, so just keep this in mind. So technically, when you think of garden parties, it's a lot of flowers, it's really happy, it's very vivid, I believe. But it's just like really, it's high-spirited, I guess you could say. Well, the first about quarter to half of the book, or short story, all it talks about is all the flowers coming in, everybody getting together, like everything's going great. Well, after the first half comes, so leading up to it, so everything's going amazing. Laura, which is the main character, she's taking in all the flowers, she's getting everything ready, and to keep in mind, Laura is a wealthier person. So, with this in mind, she's taking all the flowers in, she's taking everything, like she's just welcoming all the guests to the garden party. Well, when it hits about half point, Laura finds out that a man has died, and it's a poorer person, and they go by the Sheridans. So the man, Mr. Sheridan, of course, he was getting pulled by a horse in a carriage, and he ended up falling out and dying, and then when they found him, he was pronounced dead. Well, not too much happened about that or whatever. Well, when Laura found out about it, she went to visit Mrs. Sheridan, and upon that, she tried to leave, but Miss Sheridan said that if she could take one more look at the body, and when she went to look at it, she ran outside and just started saying, "Isn't life, isn't life," and she was just really upset. And the way I believe that this kind of connects is because, like, Laura becomes a really rich person, while the Sheridans are not rich whatsoever. They're actually quite poor. So it kind of intervenes this really rich society compared to really poor, as in, like, some people may think that the rich do not care about the poor, while in a lot of case scenarios, like, or I wouldn't say a lot of case scenarios, but like in some case scenarios, or I don't know. But in this case scenario, it is like that. The rich care about the poor a lot, as Laura did show, and she was really upset about it because she was wanting to cancel the garden party because of it, but everybody insisted not. But I think this has hit her a lot more than it may have hit other people who didn't want to cancel it. And yeah, there is a brief summary of chapter 27.